outer stay in Moscow. And this is the and this is what she wrote. Dear mother and father, I hope you are keeping fine. We arrived in Russia safely and now we are in Moscow, a very big city. This is a very clean city with lots of buildings. It's a little cold here. We've already met lots of friends from different countries. The people here are very nice and the food is delicious too. So don't worry about me. I'm sure this is going to be a very pleasant experience. From yoga. Now, the the activity is, imagine that you are yoga's mother and father. All we have to do is to write a reply to yoga. And this is the ninth activity. Read the following text and answer the questions. During the school vacation, I went on a trip with three of my friends to my uncle's farm in Bandaravela. This is what I wrote in my diary about what we saw on the farm. It was a fine morning when we arrived in Round Hill Park. The surroundings of the farm was beautiful. I took many photos with my new camera. On arrival at the farm, we saw a herd of cattle grazing in the field. My uncle came out to greet us and took all of us to the farm. There was a bunch of ducks swimming in the stream which flows behind the farmhouse. We sat in the garden and enjoyed a cup of tea. There were different types of animals on the farm. We saw a brood of chicken and a herd of goats in the backyard. There was a drove of pigs in the pigsty. A kit of pigeons flew into the compound and we fed them. My uncle told us to be careful as there was a beehive nearby. We saw a swarm of bees flying into the beehive and we ran into the house for safety. We had a wonderful lunch that had been prepared by my aunt. In the evening, we returned to the hotel. So here are some questions. Who went on the trip? Four friends to the uncle's farm in Bandaravela. What was the weather like that day? The weather was very clear. How many different types of animals were there on the farm? Cattle, ducks, chickens, goats, pigs, pigeons, and bees. Why did the uncle tell the children to be careful with the bees? He told them that he told the children to be careful because there was a beehive nearby. And there were a swarm of beehive into the beehive. Write a short description about the trip you went recently. This is what you can write down. You can write any experience about your recent trip during the recent school holidays. And now we are going to a grammar lesson. Collective nouns. What are collective nouns? Collective nouns, in fact, a collection of items, objects, or people, or animals. And here are some of the following phrases used in the text. There are 7 of them, as I said earlier. 7 collective nouns. A herd of cattle, a bunch of ducks, a herd of goats, a brood of chickens, a drove of pigs, a kit of pigeons, and a swarm of bees. So the words in the bowl are called collective nouns. So bunch, brood, drove, curd, and som are collective nouns. There are many other collective nouns apart from these that describe animals. Apart from animals, there are other collective nouns. A chain of islands, a galaxy of stars, a panel of experts, a fleet of ships, a bunch of bananas. And now here's the activity. 10. Write the correct collective noun under each picture. A herd of elephants, a bunch of flowers, a bunch of grapes, a brood of chicks, a shelf of books. And here's the last activity, activity 11. Enjoy reciting this poem. Here's a poem that you can enjoy. And here we go. My hometown. Jersey City is where I was born. I woke up to see many a dawn. It's not a bad city. It was a place to live. But there were many times it didn't forgive. The streets were tough. The winters cold. It's city that you can embrace, but one you can never hold. The streets will own you and rule you. There's not too much one can do. After some years, you'll be ready to leave. It'll no longer have the things you need. That's when you know it's time to leave, because in the city, you can no longer believe. Now, people grow up there and decide to stay, but so many ways just go in different ways. Answer the following questions regarding this poem. What is the title of the poem? My hometown. What is the name of the poet? Ray Hansel. How many stanzas are there in the poem? There are 14 stanzas in the poem. What is the name of the city mentioned in the poem? The name of the city mentioned is Jersey City. Jersey City is in New Jersey in the United States. What are the rhyming words found in this poem? Live, forgive. Cold, cold. You, do. Leave, believe. Stay, wait. Is the poet happy about his city? He is happy about this city. Give reasons for the answer. Jersey City was the city where he was born, and it was a pleasant day, and it was a great place to live. Even though the streets were very tough and the winter was cold, they, there are people that you can embrace. But after some time, he can leave. They, because in the city there will be no long people who no longer believe, even though there would be people up there. So that's all for this lesson.